Coming to you dead with a throwing star stuck to my forehead. It's the Socially Awkwards podcast. Welcome to another episode. Today, we're talking about crazy ways to die. Yeah, are you ready for this?
No.
So what we've done is I've come up with 3 rare ways to die. These aren't examples of people that have died. These are just ways you could die, where you have actual examples of crazy things that have happened to people that cause death. So I think this is going to be interesting. So let me go ahead and start, if that's cool with you. If you're cool with that, boss.
I'm cool
Are you
with
okay?
that.
You're not going to hit me
chill.
later, are you?
You're
not going to hit me? Okay. All right. He's abusive. I'm just kidding. He's cool. The first one I have is hyponatremia. Do you know what hyponatremia is, Brandon?
Hypo is a lot, or no, that's a little. Hypo is a little.
Well, basically, water intoxication occurs when you consume more water than your kidneys can excrete. So it fatally dilutes your blood's sodium levels. This causes fluids to rush into your cells, including your brain, forcing them to swell, and then it becomes life-threatening. And it requires a medical emergency. So let me just give you a few details here. Your kidneys can only process about 0.8 to 1 liter of water per hour. Exceeding this rate for several hours puts you at high risk. Sodium levels, clinically defined as blood sodium concentration falling below 135 millimoles per liter, is what kind of happens. So really, it's having too much water, but you're not dying because the water's not really killing you. It's the fact that it's depleting all your sodium and that you need that sodium. Now, the people at high risk for this are obviously like endurance athletes, like cyclists, marathoners, and things like that. Individuals performing forced hydration challenges, where we've seen some pretty crazy TikTok challenges. So don't go out and try to drink a bunch of water in a short period of time. It's not a good idea. And then users of MDMA, like ecstasy. People who are on ecstasy, apparently, who are in hot, crowded environments, drink a lot of water because of what it does to them, and that becomes an issue. What do you think about this? Obviously, this is not something that too many people should worry about. It's very rare.
I've been scared of this before.
Have you?
Yeah, because I've heard stories. There are real stories that I've heard of this happening. I've heard of this happening during hazing. In like fraternities that do hazing.
Yeah, that's.
And then I've also
waterboarding, for that matter. Who knows?
That's true. Yeah, and I've also heard of this happening. I think a woman died because of a radio contest of drinking water and not going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And so
that's awful.
So I've
what
always
an awful radio contest, by the way.
It's horrible. I know. Somebody won that prize, and I wonder what it was. Maybe like a $500 credit at the local
coffin,
like a Chili's or something, like a Chili's steak. So, I went through a period where I was like, man, am I drinking too much water? I'm watching my peak. I going through like this like hypochondriac like sort of OCD phase of like am I drinking too much water? Right. Obviously, I don't think I've ever really been at risk for that, but it's a crazy thing. And I'm wondering and thinking about the hyponatremia, because we were breaking that down. I wonder if the natremia refers to the sodium, where it's like,
I think it does.
Not enough sodium,
probably something like that.
So
So
this is really scary. I think that for most healthy adults, you could drink quite a bit of water and probably be fine. And I also just think if you drink when you're thirsty, you're not going to be at any risk of this unless you have major underlying health factors. But It's scared to think you can die from something as simple as water.
It is extremely rare, like we had said, and I think that the average human being, obviously not something to really worry about. If you are hypervigilant and you're in you're running a marathon, or you're, like you said, maybe like a military type thing, or, anything like that, I would be probably a little bit worried. They don't really have stats on how many people have actually died from this. However, they do say that there was a study that found that up to 18.5% of deaths among people with schizophrenia may be related to water intoxication, while another estimated 5% of deaths in psychiatric patients under 53 could be attributed to it as well. I also think that this could be one of those things like you've heard of, what's it called? what is it, Rise syndrome? The syndrome that you get if you take too much aspirin, where they have that issue with people who have like Alzheimer's, and they'll take aspirin and they'll be like, "Oh, I took aspirin, then I forget," and then they keep taking it, and then a lot of people going that way, and so that could be a situation where if you just don't remember, and you're like, oh, you keep drinking, and you're like, oh, I'm just so parched.
Yeah.
But yeah, a very crazy way to die. By the way, patients with severe compulsive water drinking also have roughly triple the risk of dying earlier compared to similar patients without the condition. So apparently that's actually a condition too, compulsive water drinking. So that'd be a little scary as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just a kind of idea. But I know you've got an actual example of something that happened, not with this, not with hyponatremia, but something, and I'm curious to see, hear what it is.
I have death by falling dog.
Ooh, this might be one that I've read about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, tell me about it. Because if it's the same one, it's crazy. Because if I'm right, it's not just one death. But go for it.
You are correct. Yes.
Okay.
And so
I feel morbid by saying I like this story.
I
But
love
it is
it.
very
I love
interesting.
it.
Yeah.
Makes me smile at night right before I slip into sleep. So, in a bizarre and tragic 1988 incident in Argentina, a dog fell from a 13th floor balcony and landed directly on a woman, killing them both instantly. As a crowd gathered around the shocking scene, a passerby stepped into the street to see what happened and was fatally struck by an oncoming bus.
Yeah.
And it keeps going. It doesn't stop there. Amidst the escalating chaos, an elderly man who witnessed both horrific events suffered a fatal heart attack from the sheer shock, ultimately bringing the total death toll triggered by the falling dog to 3 people.
Yeah. And, and the dog died obviously as well. So if you want to count that as well. But yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah.
That, I don't know if that's obviously like a kind of a fluke situation. When I was doing some research, I did see that as well. And that's why I kind of heard about it. But I can't imagine that, that's something that's happened a lot in the past, obviously. But that is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I sort of cheated there because there's 3 crazy deaths, right? It's like, what are the chances that you'll die?
Oh, that's all. That's all you've got for us. Just those 3.
Yeah, that's right.
Deaths.
And I'm done.
No.
I'm done. I'm going to go to bed soon. What are the odds of having a heart attack while watching this unfold? Probably 1 in 8 billion. I think I would imagine that's only happened once.
To be fair, he obviously had some issues already.
Yeah, maybe it was maybe he ate a hot dog too fast and he was just sitting on the wrong block.
That happens to all of us.
We don't know.
Happens to the best.
Yeah, the important thing is we don't know.
Right.
And secondly, being struck by the bus, that's very sad because it's like that didn't need to happen. That's sort of like, that's why you shouldn't rubberneck. So different people have different words for this. Rubberneck, long neck. What do you call it? Right. What do you call it when there's a traffic accident?
I would say that. Honestly, dude, I don't think I first heard that. I first heard that term on Family Guy, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, that's what they're talking about. I may have heard it before, but I never bothered to look it up.
It's the term for when you drive by an accident and you go real slow so you can get a good look at what's going on.
Right. And do you think that the people on the bus, what was she hit by, a bus or?
That's what it says here. Yeah, a crowd gathered.
So you think the person driving the bus was also paying attention to it and didn't see her as well?
Possibly, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. That's rough. No pun intended with the dog, but that's rough.
Yeah, very bow wow of the whole situation.
Yeah, little. All right. All right. Well, I've got something here for you.
All right.
This one is called fatal familial insomnia. Extremely rare, hereditary disease that attacks the thalamus, the part of the brain that's responsible for regulating sleep. As if you didn't know, people. It's caused by a mutation in the PRNP gene, and it causes normal prion proteins to misfold. These misfolded proteins accumulate in the brain, particularly damaging the thalamus, and lead to progressive neurodegeneration because it's autosomal dominant. A child of an affected parent has a 50% chance of inheriting the mutation and eventually developing the disease themselves. Kind of sounds like Huntington. I think Huntington's disease, usually if you've got a parent, you got a 50% chance of having it. Well, FFI typically strikes adults with onset usually between the ages of 40 and 60. Those are our ages. Though it can occur earlier to later, the disease progresses through stages, initially worsening insomnia and subtle autonomic disturbances like sweating or rapid heartbeat. God, I hate when my heart feels like it's beating faster than it should. Followed by hallucinations, panic attacks, and further sleep loss. Then rapid weight loss and complete inability to sleep. And finally, dementia. And unresponsiveness leading to death. Once symptoms begin, the disease is universally fatal, usually within 6 months to 3 years, and there is no cure or effective treatment. Care is purely palliative. Palliative. Is it palliative? 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 Palliative.
The second one, yeah.
FFI is exceptionally rare, with only around 100 to 150 known families worldwide affected by the genetic mutation. Roughly 40 documented cases described in medical literature history, and there's also an extremely rare sporadic form, SFI, that occurs without the inherited mutation, though thought to arise spontaneously, making the total pool of cases even smaller. Because of its rarity, exact worldwide prevalence figures are hard to pin down precisely, but it's considered one of the rarest known genetic diseases. How crazy would it be? First of all, it sounds like a horrible death, because not only can't you sleep, like all these things are happening, then you're getting dementia and stuff, but we've all, I'm sure, even to the viewers listening, and you and I personally, we've all had times where we've battled insomnia. I think everybody at some time in their life has probably battled it for whatever reason. Maybe it's anxiety, or maybe it's just, whatever it is. But this would be just awful, wouldn't it? Like, it would not be a thing that I would want to deal with. And it's bad enough that if you're born into a family with that, and now you've got a 50% chance of dealing with it, and you don't even know when it's going to happen. It's just going to strike you at one point. You live half of your life and it's wonderful, and the next half, you're dealing with this.
Yeah, this is a terrible disease. I've always wished that I didn't have to sleep, but this is sort of like a monkey's paw version of this wish, where it sounds like it's torturous, It's horrible. It sounds like you want to sleep, but you just never actually can. And
yeah, which is almost worse, right? It's almost worse than, because there are times where I've fought to stay up because I've just wanted to do something, or maybe I was finishing up something, the hand pump thing. So you just, it's kind of like already there. So you're telling your brain that it's okay to stay up. But imagine just wanting to fall asleep. Like, you're ready. You're there. You should just be able to close your eyes and fall asleep, and it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's
You can't
sad.
do it.
Yeah. All right, you got another crazy death for us?
I do, and this one is death by sinkhole.
I might have heard of this one too, if it's the one I'm referring to, or if I'm the one I'm thinking of. But go ahead.
There's probably been more than one.
There's probably been numerous, but yeah.
So dying by sinkhole is already going to be a pretty rare way to die, and I don't think anybody wants to die this way. But this particular person died in a way that I think is interesting, and I want to be sort of sensitive because the date of this is only 13 years ago. On the night of February 28th, 2013, 37-year-old Jeffrey Bush was asleep in his bedroom on Faithway Drive when a massive 20-foot wide cover collapse sinkhole suddenly tore open directly underneath his bed. His brother Jeremy heard a loud crash followed by Jeffrey screaming for help. Jeremy rushed down the hallway, flipped on the light, and found that the entire bedroom floor, bed, and furniture had completely vanished into a churning chasm of earth.
That sounds so scary, bro. It really does.
Yeah, so you're here 1 second, and the next second your entire bedroom is swallowed up into a sinkhole. That has to be terrifying. I agree.
Yeah. And did they ever find the body? Do we know?
I don't think so. I remember reading a little bit about this. So the brother had jumped into the sinkhole and was trying to dig through the sand and muck and stuff to get down, but he couldn't. And over time, so authorities had shown up, and people were trying to help, and police and people that were there, they were trying to, or they were seeing that it was like unstable. And so they had pulled this Jeremy guy out, I think Jeremy's his brother, if I read it correctly, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So they pull this guy out because it's getting unsafe. So this guy's out. He did survive, but the guy that got swallowed up, I don't believe they ever recovered him, and I think that he got lost into the ground, and that was that.
And am I correct when I don't know if you have more to this, but I have read about this before, and I'm pretty sure that they've tried to fix it, but I think it's already opened up like a couple more times, the same damn sinkhole. I mean, I don't think anybody's living there anymore, but it keeps opening up, and there's an issue. Fun fact: Florida is the flattest state in the whole country. It has like, I think the highest peak is like 300 something feet. So it's not very like, it's very flat, and that's one of the reasons why when they think that all the polar caps, when everything starts melting and the oceans start rising, that Florida's just going to be gone, along with a lot of other places.
That makes
too,
sense.
but,
Yeah, because once you can cover one part of Florida, you basically can cover all of it. Yeah.
Got to get rid of that dick, that penis of America, Florida. Now, I always talk bad about Florida, but I don't mean to, or do I? I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah. Comment below if you're from Florida.
You gotta do the fingers.
Yeah. Go below. Oh, I forgot I had a joint in my hands. Excellent.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
For the censors.
Not in Florida. We're in Michigan, so calm down, Florida, man. All right. I have one final crazy thing, and I think this one, this is probably the one that freaks me out the most, even though I still think it's quite rare. It's called alpha-gal syndrome, and it's a food allergy that causes the immune system to react to galactose alpha 1 and galactose alpha 3, whatever that means. I'm not a scientist. Which is a sugar molecule found in the tissue of most mammals. So beef, pork, lamb, venison, and other products derived from mammals like gelatin, dairy, and even some medications. This is all in there. And what happens? Unlike typical allergies triggered by proteins, this one targets a carbohydrate, which is part of why it behaves so differently. Reactions are often delayed by 3 to 8 hours after eating, making the trigger much harder to identify without specific testing. Now, here's how you get it. This condition is directly tied to the Lone Star tick. Lone Star tick, which is making its way up north. Obviously, when you think of Lone Star, you think of Texas. The bite is primarily known cause in the United States. When this tick bites a person, its saliva is believed to be the trigger, and it triggers an immune response that produces antibodies against alpha-gal. Later, when that person eats mammalian meat containing the same sugar molecule, their immune system reacts as if it were under attack, causing symptoms ranging from hives, itching and swelling to gastrointestinal distress, and in severe cases, anaphylaxis. Repeated tick bites can heighten sensitivity over time. The Lone Star tick is found predominantly in the southeastern and south central United States. I don't know if it's made its way up to Michigan yet. If it has, I don't know if it's made it up as far as us. And its range has been expanding due to climate change and things like that, which correlates with the rising number of alpha-gal cases in areas that historically saw few or none. It can affect anyone bitten by an infected tick. Just because you get bit by that tick doesn't mean you're going to have it, but it can affect it regardless of age or health status, and is increasingly common in states where the Lone Star tick population is dense. Missouri, Arkansas, Virginia, and North Carolina, they're starting to make their way up there. The CDC has noted a significant rise in suspected cases over the past decade. Estimates suggest possible hundreds of thousands of Americans may have AGS antibodies. Though many remain undiagnosed, the condition is still not widely recognized by all clinicians. Obviously, just because you have it, it's one of those things where, like, just because you have it, it's not going to kill you, but there's going to be that rare occurrence where it will. People with a blood type A or O appear to be at higher risk of developing the syndrome, suggesting genetics plays some role in who reacts and who doesn't. The CDC estimates roughly 0.15% of Americans have been diagnosed with alpha-gal syndrome, so it's not anything, crazy. But here's what we have the first death that they actually noted from it. In New Jersey, researchers reported what appears to be the first clearly documented fatality from alpha-gal syndrome. In 2024, a 47-year-old man who died 4 hours after eating a hamburger, 2 weeks after a milder reaction to steak. Some reporting notes a second death has since been linked to the syndrome, but confirmed food-triggered fatalities remain in the single digits. For medical products, the count is higher. There are more than 10 confirmed deaths tied to alpha-gal reactions to medical products alone. So there's things like gelatin-containing vaccines or certain drugs. Don't want to get into the whole vaccine conspiracy here because I'm not one of them people, but just another thing I guess you have to worry about. It's likely undercounted. Experts such as the real number is higher than what's documented since the condition is underdiagnosed and underreported, meaning that there may be deaths connected to alpha-gal that haven't been recognized as such. That's kind of crazy though, isn't it? Like that all of a sudden a tick bites you and it's making you allergic to basically everything you eat, and you don't even know until about 4 hours after you eat it. And that's a little scary.
Yeah, I mean, this is the common like you can't eat red meat tick bite thing, right? That
Right.
I've heard about this. And I absolutely do not want this to happen. I love red meat. I eat it probably way more than I should. If when I have the time and the money and the resources, I love a good juicy steak. And just like every other, red-blooded
Even when you
American.
don't eat red meat, I think you just spray paint it red, right? Just to make yourself feel more
like
comfortable with eating.
red chicken breast, the red salmon. Salmon is kind of red, isn't it?
Kind of.
But
yeah.
Yeah, so this is a scary one. I love red meat, and I wouldn't want to be. I mean, like, let alone the risk of actual death and an injury or health risk. Like, just the risk of like quality of life alone is enough to scare me. So, it's really crazy that nature even has some sort of mechanism to cause this to happen in a human being.
And ticks, man, I don't like ticks.
Yeah.
And it's bad enough you've got the ticks that can give you Lyme disease, which is, a whole nother separate issue. And I don't know if you've noticed, but, we're in kind of the northern area of Michigan, of the lower peninsula of Michigan now, and ticks are becoming a little bit more of a problem than they have in the past. And I've had a couple on me this year that I've had to pick off. And I've had a couple on my animals that I've had to pick off, and kind of it can be rough, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we could do a whole episode on ticks. It's been getting worse, and it's been getting worse in the area where we live, which is in Michigan. But I'd imagine that there's a lot of people that live up in the north that are seeing higher prevalence of ticks more than they have all in the years past. So we're seeing we're seeing like habitat, ecology, and all these things change in real time. We went through phases of this, like there was a whole bees thing, like a killer bees or something like that, where they came up from the south. I remember a time in my life when ladybugs didn't bite me, and now
they bite you.
Now they bite me. Yeah. What's the story with those? Didn't they bring in like a lookalike ladybug from like some Asian country to help? But those ones actually, but those ones bite. And now those are like the dominant bugs everywhere. Usually,
the crazy thing is how many times are there just stupid things that we do? I read one thing, and this is kind of going off a little bit of this, but I read one time where back in like, I don't know, it was like a long time ago, like 40s or 30s, these scientists came up with the idea of like putting in like, I think it was like cold water. Like they found a way to like maybe dissipate a hurricane, and they thought it would dissipate the hurricane. And when they went back to go see where it was projected, it had gone like 100 miles off its course and was like wrecking like some place in like Louisiana or something. And then they were getting sued because people were like, what the fuck did you do? But how many times do we fuck with nature just because we're trying to change it, and then it just makes it worse? And that freaks me out. And up until last year, I don't ever remember seeing a tick ever.
Yeah.
So it has been getting pretty crazy.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, I know you've got a third crazy death.
I got one more crazy one that's going to rock your world. I hope you're still listening. This is the best for last.
Yeah.
We have death by beard.
Oh, death by beard.
That's right. What do you think this is
And
going
this
to
is
be?
not like the beard that you take with you on a date so people won't hit on you. This is like your literal beard. Okay.
That's correct. Yeah.
Gotcha.
In 1567, Steininger.
Rapunzel? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, well, I don't want to repronounce this guy's name because it's very close to other words.
Okay.
But
Okay, go ahead.
But Steininger, who served as the town's beloved magistrate, was famous across the region for his spectacular beard, which measured over 4.5 feet long. He typically kept the massive beard carefully rolled up and tucked away inside a special leather pouch or pocket to prevent it from dragging on the ground. The fatal accident on September 28, 1567, is that a catastrophic fire broke out in the town, causing widespread panic. In his haste to help manage the emergency, Steininger, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong.
That's fine. That's fine.
He rushed down a flight of stairs, and during the commotion, his long beard slipped out of the protective pocket and hung loose, which caused him to accidentally step on his own beard, which he then lost his footing and tumbled down the steps. The fall broke his neck, killing him instantly. That's death by beard.
Yeah, man. That is first of all, kudos to them to still having records. What year did you say that was? Like
1567.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to and where was that? Did you say a location?
I don't remember if I said location.
Okay.
I don't think I
but
did.
But obviously it was not, it wouldn't have been anywhere on the western side of the world. It would have been over in Europe.
I think this
somewhere.
is European, This is a European
But
situation.
but yeah, I mean that's the exact reason why you and I don't grow beards.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's the one reason. The only reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy. You got anything else you want to add? You want to talk about anything with crazy ways to die? Because I mean, there was that show back in the day, right? What was that show called? Like 1,000 Ways to Die, I think, or something like that. And they would it'd basically be this, where they would just tell you all the crazy ways somebody died.
Yeah.
And there is so many different ways you could die. You know, like if you're a big fan of Final Destination, and I've watched probably every Final Destination movie because I love those movies. Yeah. You know, that's kind of something too, like where they just come up with the craziest shit.
Yeah, and I know because of that, everybody clenches up when they're driving behind one of those logging trucks.
Yeah.
And also, it reminds me of also like a count. I feel like I've seen this countdown, like the 100 deadliest animals on Earth or something like that. Yeah. And number one is always, it's the mosquito, because it just kills like millions, like 300 million people a year. Or maybe it's, I don't know, that might be a lot, but it's a lot of people.
300 million a year?
Is that correct? I'm going to look this up.
I don't know.
How many people each year?
I mean, yeah, it could be. I mean, there's there's over 8 billion people. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. No, it's not that much. It's 1 million, up to 1 million people every year die because of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Which is still a crazy number.
Most of that's probably like malaria, right? Like, are they still trying to get malaria under control in like Africa and stuff, and then other shit too? But yeah. Or is it just the mosquito beating them up, like just kicking their ass?
Yeah, it's just biting them until you just get knocked out.
It's like right. Yeah.
Maybe some people just had the blood sucked out of them so much that they just withered away.
Yeah, like they become little like the mosquito, and the mosquito becomes big like them. Yeah.
No,
crazy.
But it's certainly malaria based, and that's probably the majority of the deaths. But how did we get on that? We're talking about the shows. I lost track.
Yeah, 1,000 Ways to Die, and we're just kind of talking about stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So stay away from mosquitoes. Stay away from the ticks. Enjoy your red meat if you're the kind of person who does, and try not to grow a beard. 3.5 feet long if you can.
That's too long of a beard. I don't even know what the point of that. Like that would drive me nuts. By the way, it drives me nuts when it's like when I have too much hair anywhere, people.
Yeah.
Anywhere. All right. Well, it's been another great episode. If anybody's got some other crazier ways that they've heard of death or some crazy diseases or things that are kind of cause like death that are rare, comment below and let us know. But until then, we will see you then, and enjoy yourselves.